welcome to the third episode of the Peak Performance Podcast with Prof
Hello.
and me, Tiyo.
Very excited. More
Like,
history
more
because
history.
we had some stuff we wanted to talk about from last time that we didn't want to get around to because we don't want to go for too long. An hour is probably a decent amount of time.
Yeah, we
Um,
didn't go for it too long, and then we didn't record in a long time as well.
yeah. Been a couple months, just a bit, month and a half or so. Yeah.
Yeah, today the second episode releases, and we're currently recording, and the second episode was recorded like Prof said, a month and a half ago or something.
Yeah, we just wanted to jump right back into it. So we were generally talking about our history as runners and the Celeste community and getting into that ourselves. Um, and we realized that one of the things that we may have missed out on talking about was MrMajama's community and the Moonberry Cup, because that
Oh,
was a very big part, at least early on for me. I'm not sure for you. Um, how much of an impact did you say Majama's community had for you early on with Celeste speedrunning?
a lot because most people I interacted with a lot, and I still am friends with them and stuff. Like the first time I interacted with them was because of the Moonberry Cup and Majama's Twitch streams.
Yeah, I think I can pretty much say the same. He was one of the people who was live pretty often early on for the community, so people hung out there all the time. Then his Discord was huge, along with the Moonberry Cup going. Wasn't it pretty much at least once a month, if not once every few weeks back then?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so it was
Um,
like pretty frequent races and just hanging out as a group for that stuff. That was really fun to actually have a small community around that. So that was part of what made me enjoy speedrunning this game more because I didn't fully mesh with the early community and the actual Celeste Discord, but Majamas was great.
yeah, and I think we have to talk about what the Moonberry Cup even is, because we of course know that, but like
Yeah, yeah.
not everyone does. But the Moonberry Cup, right now, Water still hosts sometime
Hmm.
because she just carried over
Carrying the
his
torch.
carrying over his legacy, but it is just casual races in different categories. Mostly it was any percent because people just play any percent the most, right? But
Yeah, but
yeah,
occasionally they've had things like farewell races or all red berries. Like
yeah,
who? It would Comet versus somebody. Who did Comet race against the one time?
Jake,
Jake? Oh yeah, I
yeah,
think so.
yeah,
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 that
yeah.
was a fun watch for sure.
Yeah, I was commentating that one. That was great,
Ah,
honestly.
hmm.
Especially Comet's internet died, I think, in Temple.
Oh no.
That was
Was it in TPB, didn't he? Was it like
was it?
unverifiable PB because he lost his stream? It might have been. It might have been.
Might have been, honestly. I don't know. We would
I just
have
know
to
he was
ask
like
Comet.
close to PBing. But yeah, it was always a very good time because Najama had quite the eccentric stream. For people who are unfamiliar with who he was, he had this whole deal where, well, we'll just start with what Rule One was in his community. Rule One: we are not a cult.
We are not a cult. No. This was not never a cult. Never, ever.
No, never. And his whole aesthetic was he had this PNG tuber esque wizard type thing going on, and it was pretty neat, pretty fun. He had some fun little things that he did with around that. But yeah, he made a decent place for Celeste speedrunning um, on Twitch, and it was definitely a little strange, but it was fun.
Yeah. Um also because of the Moonberry Cup, he had the idea of making like very short, like really, really short tutorial videos
Oh
that he could
yeah.
play in between and stuff. The speed school with the absolutely ear blasting intro.
Yeah.
Like I made a couple for that. What did I even make for that? Like I know you made I think one or two as well.
Yeah, I made a few very basic ones. It was basically just explaining what supers and hypers were for people who were unfamiliar and
Oh,
but like came into Majama's stream because he had some friends that some like decent community friends that would show up in decent numbers and would be completely clueless to what Celeste was about. So it was somewhat relevant still.
yeah. Oh, that reminds me that Majama once um had Bubs on for like one run. The
Oh yeah. Yeah, Bye was on for just was it just a showcase run
Yeah,
of
just a
any
showcase
percent
run.
maybe?
Yeah, just to showcase any percent run.
Yeah. Yeah, so he got all sorts of different people coming on for that. It was a very fun place while it lasted, but it had to come to an inevitable end there when he got uh he got twins
Yeah,
with his wife. So there he's got a whole family deal going on and is probably having to work quite often too. So he hasn't streamed in quite a while, but we're
yeah.
thankful for the time we had from his community. It was very very good time.
Also, I don't think anybody even knew that um he had a wife or a girlfriend or whatnot, and had kids on his way. Because I don't
No, we didn't.
like everybody was so surprised when Majama just showed up and posted that yeah he's expecting twins, and we were like, what?
Yeah, he was a generally private person, which, fits well with the whole aesthetic he was going for with his stream. Um, but yeah, guess he wanted to make sure everybody knew he had plenty of reason to be elsewhere afterward. You know, do kind of miss the Moonberry Cup. That was always a good time.
Yeah, it was very
Um,
scuffed,
just
to be fair.
oh yeah, well that was part of the charm.
True,
You
true.
had it had to be scuffed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like oh my god, I remember the race from like Comet versus Jake, the up race.
Mm-hmm.
And I still remember it clearly because sometimes still make fun I still make fun about it because like the rule for Moonberry Cup races was that you go to the postcard stream screen. I
Oh
kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
talk when you're ready, and then when both players were on there, Majama would do a countdown. But like nearly on every chapter, Comet just started without a countdown.
uh,
It was
Kept
so
going.
good. It was so good. Uh,
Yeah. There was also always the inevitable somebody started Summit because they forgot that there was no postcard screen. It was a little bit of a strange way to do it, just syncing every single IL start rather than just having people go. But, you know,
Yeah. To be fair, with if you where that Skaftan had to use browser sources or even just normal browser windows. I think Majama just used browser windows and cropped them. Um, but yeah, you can't really resync them, especially
yeah.
if you are in a call with the. But the fun thing about Moonberry Cup also that we didn't mention is that the races were in a call with the commentators.
Yeah, the people who were racing were always just like on comms the whole time. So occasionally you'd have commentators like making fun of strats or people just be like, "Oh no!" and then you see it 3 seconds later what happened to them. It was
Yeah,
very, very funny how things went with that.
it was very entertaining.
Yeah. What was your you were in a couple NBC races or just like one or two, how do you remember?
I had two, definitely at least two against Undertempo.
Mm-hmm.
Like one,
Okay.
oh, true, true. I remember one. Okay. The I remember both. So, the first one was ARP, and that was when
Mm-hmm.
I just started learning ARP. So my times were really inconsistent, and I think I think I even PB'd in that race or something. I don't know. I can't
Ooh,
remember.
race PB. Love to see it.
Or I was really close to PBing, and yeah, and the other one was Benny%, and oh my god, that one has a whole another history actually to it, or not a whole another history, but it has
Who were you racing?
it was also under tempo. So
Ah, okay, for both.
yeah,
Got it.
for both. Yeah, for both. And the thing with that one is that um oh god, I don't know if I want to talk about this, but the thing about that one was that Chris, Ickle Chris, shouts to Ickle Chris again,
Hmm.
um, said that if I die at the end of the
Oh, this.
horizontal
Oh,
room, he would give me like, what was it, 5 subs, 3 subs? I can't remember. Uh,
it was the end of the vertical auto scroller in 4B, right?
yeah,
That's what it was.
of the really long
It's
one in
like
Dust
20
Canyon.
second room of just having a block move back and forth, pretty much.
If and I said I would only do it if it wasn't that close. It wasn't that close, I think, at that time. And if you look back the race, it was so obvious that I had just died on purpose. Oh my god.
Uh,
Oh god. I don't know if I would do that again.
can't believe Tio is toxic.
Oh god. And the
Toxic
other
for money. How dare you?
and I'm pretty I'm pretty sure Undertempo knew. I think Undertempo knew about that beforehand because we were in a call together.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
It
And
was not, it wasn't that big of a deal. It was all, people just messing around who were already friends and understood, it's just like basically shit posting in races was okay as long as everybody was comfortable with it. I'm pretty sure that was what was going on, right?
yeah, and even so,
No hard feelings
I
anyway.
wouldn't have done it if it was like a really close race throughout. And I'm pretty sure it wasn't. But at least at that point in time. But there's
Hmm.
a second thing to that race actually,
Oh,
which was that I didn't re- it was yeah it was that I didn't really learn 7B at the time.
I remember this now.
And um uh and I made the promise because my other B-side times were better than match under Temple's B-side
Hmm.
times, that I wouldn't practice 7B before the race. So my 7B was like, I don't know, 9 minutes something. And
Uh-oh.
and Matt's was
Uh-oh.
like 7 minutes or something. I don't know. Maybe 8. I don't know. But it was definitely way better. And
Did you know how
yeah,
much he caught up during the actual race
like a
at the end
minute,
there?
like a minute or so.
Mm.
I can't remember. I would have to
Had
look
to
it up.
keep it exciting.
Yeah. Um, I still won. I'm pretty sure. But
Yeah,
yeah,
you did. Mm.
it was
Yeah,
like that race will always be in my memory because it had like two funny things going on there.
that was a good time. I remember chat after your just very conspicuous left dash into the spinners at the end of that room. You're like, what are you doing? People were just like freaking out. I'm pretty sure Carrie was there too, and she's just basically flaming you in chat over it. Or at least Chris. At the very least, Chris. But yeah, that was very fun. It's a good time. Yeah.
Oh god. Yeah.
Speaking of B-sides, we also wanted to talk about our B-side grinds early on.
True.
So,
Especially like I started learning 3B when before the Aurora Dash incident. Um so I
mhm.
got I got second place there, by the way. Oh, was it
Yeah.
second place? Yeah, yeah.
When did you want to start, like what made you want to start grinding 3B in the first place, actually, just to go back to the beginning here, if you remember.
Oh, that is a very good question. I think it was just Chris mentioning that 3B is a great level and that more people should play it, and I was and I was a bit burned out of any percent for the sub 30 grind, I think. Or was it the
Mm.
sub 30? Yeah, I think it was the sub 30 grind. It was like I needed a short break, so I just wanted to do something else and I learned 3B. And yeah. And oh, I remember another thing there. The thing is I didn't even want I wanted to just get like a low to 1x or something. Or at least I just played the level. I found it fun. Wanted to get a low 1x. And then I got a 210, but I forgot to press start recording.
Oh no.
So I went back and grinded for a PB, and that was an OX, which was at the moment second place actually, and then
Yeah.
later, yes, and then and record was 159 or something, right?
Yeah, yeah, there was
Like,
barely a sub two, I think, from Aurora, I believe it was, right?
yeah,
That was like the first sub two, and people had not really played the level at all at that point. So there was like a sub two and then a 212 or 213 or something.
I think it was a 210. I don't know
Mm.
honestly, but yeah,
Somewhere in there.
yeah.
The,
Then I
yeah,
got second
huge,
place.
huge disparity.
Yeah, then uh yeah, then I got second place. Then shortly after, like I don't know, like a few days after, Quickter granted the level, right? But yeah. Then later, I don't know even why. It was later in like March, April, I went back to the level and granted for a sub 2. Um
Yeah,
and
I
I
don't
don't
remember. I wonder.
I wonder why. I'm checking
Yeah, yeah, feel
my
free
SSC
to hunt
page.
through, search through the archives. Maybe there was a chance that on your server or somewhere you were posting about it. Who knows?
Um who knows? It was
I think.
after I think I figured it out because
Oh, yep.
it was roughly um because I was a bit bored at the game. Not bored, but I was um I was doing my ARP grind for a lower um time after my sub 30, and I got uh in April. Wait, when did I get my 3B, my sub 2, my first one? Oh, that was before that. Okay, then I don't understand this timeline.
Oh,
Um right. Okay. After getting a 55, I don't know what I wanted to do, I think. Grinded B-sides again a bit. And did all ended ARP, and every time I didn't want to do full game ARP, I grinded 3B on the side instead of practicing ARP. um
I see.
and yeah, and then one day, because I was really fan of the level, and one day I just got a sub 2, and I think that was also because maybe it was because court. Um, oh wait, that would make sense. I think it was at the time when court was hard grinding the level. Yeah, it was. So I got motivated to also
Cordovia.
Cordovia. Yeah. So that was yeah, when Cordovia got world record. So I was motivated to
Mm.
and grinded the level before that as well for better time. So I was motivated again to play 3B because I saw someone else play 3B, and like in the Celeste community, it's very common to have these bandwagon things happen.
Yeah, yeah. People jump on a level and other people want to join them, and that's for the good of some boards pretty often. Because this happened a few times. Because there was some big gaps over time in the especially the B-side boards where you had something like 8B, and you look at the history of the board. You go back to, I think, um, late 2020, and there's still only like 12 runs on there, late 2020, basically
Yeah,
untouched, relative to other chapters. But now I look at it, like I pulled it up right now, and there's 39. So the game had
yes.
been out for pretty much 2 years and had only um or 2 years? Yeah, like more, actually almost 3 years. It had been out for almost 3 years and only had 12 to 15 runs on it. And then only a year and a half, 2 years after that now, there's another, it's basically tripled. So that happened a few times with different B-sides, like 3B, 8B. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's just interest in B-sides came on very late for Celeste, it seemed.
Yeah, and I hope with the B-side tutorial, the interest will at least keep going up.
Hmm.
And whenever you grind Hundo, I grind 20%, and Zap grinds 20% instead of grinding a random A side or C side. No,
Zap,
I love you,
play
Zap.
20% Zap. Wait, I mean play 5A. Wait, I mean no, it's fine. This
It's fine.
happens to
It's
all
fine.
of us.
Yeah,
Side checks are inevitable.
it doesn't matter. And also just do whatever it's fun. And if it's fun, then it doesn't matter. But
Hmm.
yeah. Um how did your B-side adventure then go with 6B and 7B? Because I don't know the timeline
Mhm.
anymore.
Yeah. Okay, so if we go back in the time for when I was first playing 6B, the whole timeline, I think I kind of remember that decently clearly because it was centered around the time period that we were working on the tutorials. So this is kind of a carryover of the discussion from last time, but it's the starting point anyway, so might as well.
Yeah.
But I very first found interest in B-sides because I was making the ARB tutorial and I was like, wow, this is harder than I uh, thought, trying to figure out how to teach everything in a short amount of time and all that. So I'm just going to get practice teaching B-sides instead because those are like relatively simpler than All Red Berries feels. So I was learning B-sides after that, just kind of because I don't know why I chose B-sides. Like 6B, 7B, 8B are obviously the longest B-sides that get, or used to get, at least. I don't know if they still do. They kind of still do. But they used to get a lot of flack from people for just being um, hard levels. So a lot of people found them not as fun because it's also just a different kind of gameplay to A sides. Like I'm sure
Yeah.
you could talk about it too, but generally speaking, A sides you have so many choices all the time, and B sides are way more limiting that it almost feels like a different game sometimes. Yeah, would you agree on that there?
Yeah, I wouldn't say a different game, but it's definitely a different approach to the game because it's more it's more like in A sides you are so open and just have a lot of different choices you can make, um and not a lot of things can actually kill you. But
Mhm.
in B sides it's more just have a consistent strat and actually hit it. While in A sides you often can wing it, or you're just open to just do your own thing. But in B sides you actually have to do set
Yeah.
strats.
Yeah, the biggest, I think, most obvious difference between A sides and B sides that you can compare almost every level like this is, generally speaking, B side rooms don't have a floor. So you you have a lot fewer options because you're not going to get your dash back as much. That's the big difference there. But anyway, yeah, that's how I started playing B sides, was trying to get better at making tutorials back in the period of the ARP tutorial making deal. And that's where I got my first interest in 6B. And I I knew people had always talked about the level as being like really hard and one of those really big annoying steps that you kind of eventually have to make if you want to be getting competitive times and stuff like All Red Berries or any percent or farewell, or not farewell, a true ending. I mean, but it's one of those big gateway steps to the rest of full game, because a lot of people just found it pretty hard. And I think I agreed with that, but I also just enjoyed that kind of difficulty. It was something about the way you had to play B-sides that I was enjoying more than I think I expected. So I ended up coming back to it
Yeah.
repeatedly over time. And then somewhere before the whole Summer Open, the whole any percent tournament in the middle of 2021, somewhere before that, I was just going through all the different B-sides and trying to get a good time in every single one. I remember now. Okay,
I
I
also
wanted
remember.
to. I still had interest in 100% back then. That's what it was.
Oh.
That's why I played B-sides, because before the Summer Open and the whole any percent tournament, I didn't even consider playing any percent competitively past getting like a sub 30. I just got sub 30 and wanted to play B-sides and move on to 100%. So yeah, this has been a very roundabout way of talking about B-sides. It's nice figuring things out again because I would not have remembered if we didn't talk about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, but yeah, the 6B grind for me was over the course of like 2 or 3 weeks, amidst running also all of the B-sides really. Like I ran them all for some amount of time after let me think here. I think it was like beginning of 2021 all the way up until late June. Yeah, that's the timeline there. I was just running all the different B-sides, trying to have experience in them. And then immediately following that was the Summer Open.
Yeah.
So the plan to go to 100% kind of changed because of that.
Yeah, but the thing that I actually completely forgot about was we had a 6B grind going on in like fall of 2020. Yeah,
Yeah, that
like
was the like Zeno and you and I were all just being a little bit competitive about it.
yeah, we didn't talk about that, but that was a really fun time in my opinion. Like we all had um because of the ARP tutorial and stuff like that, Prof of course learned 6B, and Zeno and me were learning ARP or stuff like that, and we're implementing 6B, and we just all just grinded 6B and just had this competitive rivalry at the time, and the leaderboards at the time, I think I don't know if you surely didn't delete them, right?
Hmm?
The ones you surely didn't. No, you didn't delete the ones. Okay,
No,
so
they're still there for sure.
yeah, if you go
Hmm.
to like I don't know, the end of September
Probably,
2020 or something, I
probably just
think.
end of 2020 is accurate enough, I think.
I,
Yeah, I'm
I,
I'm clicking over to it too now. I'm
I,
curious.
we had like uh okay, Zeno wasn't on here yet. No, but we just had this funny the funny snug with like Prof having a 43, me having a 46, and Zeno having a 49, I think.
Yeah. I just here, got a little screenshot. I'll drop in our text chat here of the boards back then.
Yeah, it was really nice. I know
Yeah.
later on when I started to oh yeah, now I remember at the start of when I went back to ARP, I tried to beat your time, and I think I managed to do that.
Mm, okay. That's part of the ARB grind. Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember this now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
It's a
That was
fun time. I think I'm very happy to say I can't really look back on any period of time that I was playing Celeste where I was unhappy with what I was doing, except very briefly during my 26 any percent grind. But the entire other almost 2 years now that I've been playing, it's always been fun. I haven't really had anything that like really felt frustrating or had me down. I think it was always a good time. So yeah, I'm happy to be talking about this. This is fun.
Same, honestly. Also, just looking at the leaderboards, at the obsoletes, and just seeing where this all started, what we even did there, and recalling what even happened. Because even just looking at the leaderboard, if you don't just speak about it, sometimes you can't really figure out what the whole history behind that time
Mhm.
is.
Yeah, big old walk down memory lane right now.
Yeah, because there's always a story to a time.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's
you the 6B and 7B grind was for Hando then, right? You said?
At 7B, I had an extra interest in because when I was playing through all the B-sides that I was going to be teaching for the tutorial way back before we actually ever made the tutorial, but back when I was doing it back then, I realized that 7B was just one of my favorite levels.
Yeah.
I love the music there so much. One specific memory I can always tie to that music is back watching Chai's All Hearts Grind, Chai Kitty's All Hearts Grind back in I believe it was it late 2020? I think so.
Oh, I don't know. Chai.
Yeah. Okay. Late 2020, Chai was grinding all hearts, and something that I remember very specifically about watching his runs is, 7B is very near the end of an all hearts run. And it's one of the pretty much one of the most intense moments, just because of 7B and 8B and just that general period in the run being very close to the end, very tense. And the music there, whenever he got there, I would basically be finding myself holding my breath without realizing, just from the tension it felt like. I loved watching those runs. And 7B in particular, like I always loved watching 7B. And then playing it too, I just really, really enjoy the level. So I stuck with that one extra and realized after playing it for a while, oh, I can actually like go for the record here. That's crazy. And so that's what I pushed for right before the Summer Open came around.
Yeah, I see you got the OXs and then finally I think that time beat Aurora's time, the 603.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was one time I got that was like only zero point 0.2 slower or something like that after I don't know exactly what happened, but that was that was sad. But only like a few days later I had beaten it.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, very nice, honestly. But then the Summer Open came around.
Hmm.
And or like technically it was announced, I think, during your grind. I think you weren't even sure if you wanted to join because of your B-side grind.
Yeah, I was on the fence for a little while there because, the reason I was playing B-sides again was as preparation for 100%. So I had literally just spent maybe three or 4 months playing B-sides, somewhere around that range of time when the Summer Open was announced. So I knew that it was something really, really interesting that I in any other situation might want to go for. But thinking on my mind, do I want to play 100% of this was a hard choice. But yeah, I ended up going for the Summer Open instead because I didn't want to miss out on joining in a tournament like that. I wanted to try and be competitive.
Yeah, the competitive mindset of us, like because we were FPS players, we were competitive. So I think,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I think,
Always loved the competitive nature.
yeah, I think in general though, in speedrunning, right, the competitive nature, like because we are like our history is competitive, so we just are, like competitive, in nature, right? Um,
I mean, I just know that I
right.
pretty much explicitly enjoy competition. In general, I enjoy competition, though, so that's why I gravitated towards FPS games early on, and I'm sure
Yeah.
you could probably say the same then, right?
Yeah, the thing, honestly, actually, not for me, it wasn't the competition thing,
Mm.
actually, but the self-improvement
Oh, okay.
and trying to perfectionize, like stuff like,
Mhm.
which like speedrunning and competitive games, like of course, like all of them have that.
Yeah, speedrunning's like the perfect hobby for that sort of deal there. Yeah, so it makes sense how you wound up here.
Yeah, and but as we saw with the Summer Open, or what we will talk probably about, but like not a lot of, like after the Summer Open, I think a lot of people realize that they are not as competitive as we are.
Yeah,
Like,
a lot of people got burnt out from it, which, well, part of that was just because it went on for so long. I felt a little bit of it too, even though
yeah,
I enjoyed the competition of it. But yeah,
yeah,
a lot of people saw some burnout from that.
yeah. A lot of people saw burnout, but also a lot of people couldn't really handle the competition as well. The competition
Oh
aspect
yeah,
of it.
just pressure of like performing in races.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, it was tough.
like I
It's
like
it's a different beast for sure doing live races versus just speedrunning on your own time.
yeah, especially because of the Swiss stage and because of all the people grinding it, you saw other people improving at maybe a faster rate than you, uh, or you get bad matchups or stuff like that, and that definitely can be taxing on your mental.
Oh yeah, like for example, um, Fell had some really bad luck with matchups. It seemed that was quite the run of luck, ending up in was it third division in the end?
Yeah,
I think.
but I think we have to, yeah, I think we have to talk a bit about how the format of the Summer Open was, because that is nearly a
Oh
year
yeah,
now
yeah,
since it started. So some people went around there. But it was basically a 7 round Swiss group phase. Um,
yeah. 100
and
people just about.
yeah, 100 people. We had open signups, and it ended up being 100 people. Um, and we and the players weren't seeded because it was way too much effort to figure out all PPs, especially because they weren't submitted. I think that was the reason.
Yeah,
Also,
just a little bit weirdly complicated. So
yeah. Because it wasn't seeded um in the group phase, people got some very weird matchups. Like because it was 7 rounds, it for most people it evened out at the end, but there
mhm.
were still some unlucky folks like Fell or even Blue Eye, for example, as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. Just a run of getting constantly getting opponents with better times than you because of having the same win rate. Just just from pure bad luck there.
Yeah, and also getting one of the best times in the round, but because of the draw you got, still didn't win.
Yeah, yeah. Couldn't really be helped trying to stick to that system, but
Yeah,
yeah. So there were kind of some problems with how things went, but overall it was a decent time, I would say, and a
yeah.
decent experience.
Definitely was it.
Um, Go ahead.
Yeah, it definitely was a decent experience. Especially, I think a lot of people just learned a lot of stuff from it, like positively about them or negatively about them. Like I said, that some people probably can't really deal well with pressure or like burn themselves out, but some people also just learn from that and now know um how to deal with that and how to um I don't know, just be better at the game, because a lot of people just grind the game hard at that, and the 80%
Mhm.
level rose so much doing that.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's a good thing worth talking about there. Just taking a look at the 80% boards from like early June 2021 or like late May-ish, somewhere around there, just before the tournament came around. And then by the end of it, like looking October, so just a few months later, there was this massive push of people getting sub 30s and then like 28s and 27s. Just a massive influx. I'm curious what the actual difference is. I want to go take a look at that now here.
I
Pull
will
it up.
just do late, like last day of May 2021. So
Okay.
um, if SSC would load, that's the first problem here.
Oh yeah, this is 80% board, so it's gonna take a little bit extra, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull up October, I think that was when it ended, right?
I
Somewhere
think
around
so.
October it was
Yeah,
over.
yeah. Okay, so top 100 was 70 70 seven, yeah, like top 70 was no, okay. Like sub 30 was top 70, right? And top 100 was 3119.
All right, and then looking at October here, you said it was a 31.19 then for
Yeah,
top 100?
for top 100.
Okay, so this pushed it down to a 30.36, and then the top 90 people were sub 30s. So
Yeah.
that's like a 20-ish new sub 30s over the course of just a few months there.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty big jump. What about how many 27s and 28s there were that you see
Okay.
there?
Oh, okay. 27th, 15.
15 27s?
Yes, 15,
All right.
27, and better.
They're 28 by the end of the day. So it almost doubled at
And
the
and
at the higher end.
for 28 it was 37.
And then 52 here. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like a lot more at the higher end there.
Yeah.
A lot of very very high times getting pushed more and more. So I guess that's kind of reflective of how competitive people were at the time over it.
Yeah. Because right now I can't think of 10 people who won any percent.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, it's a vastly different world when you actually have a whole community focus on some category or some IL as opposed to just the normal run of the mill who's doing whatever. Like having 100 people active in any percent at once is crazy. Very, very hard to believe there. Or 100 people like a active as in like actively running in a tournament and trying for like highly competitive times. How many people were in the tournament that were sub 30? I wonder.
I can probably look up the stats sheet we have.
It was like at least half of the people in the tournament, right? Maybe a little less.
Um, okay,
There were a lot.
so I opened the Google Doc, and there were okay 42 sub 30s at the time. Oh wait, no, that's at the end of the race. Wait, is this at the end? Oh, this is at the end, I think. Wait, round one.
Okay.
I'm included. I think. Um, can I wait?
Either way, though, still, it's like a over a third of the total participants who were sub 30 runners. So that's just like that was just a big group of people pushing the game in any percent. So board saw a lot of movement from that. It's very very cool to watch. Um,
Yeah.
Kind of stressful for verifiers though. I heard.
Espe
You
yeah,
know.
especially I think. Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, I was a verifier already at that time. I joined the SOC team in May. Um, so if you the thing with the SOC queue was that because the matches were recorded and restreamed later, because it would be absolutely unreasonable to schedule a lot of live matches. Um, uh, and because there were so many 8% runs, of course there were PBs, um, and you didn't want the ones to leak out before it was shown on stream, of course, right? Because that would just ruin the experience. And people still submitted their any percent PB they got in races before it got restreamed, and it
Oh.
oh my god, it was something.
Verifiers getting spoilers.
Yep, yep, yep. And
Oops.
um okay, I found an old version of the sheet if it would load. And oh, okay, we didn't get a lot of new sub 30s, I think, but it was 37 sub 30s at the beginning of the tourney, and at the end it was like, I don't know, more, definitely. Like 45 or something. Um, but yeah.
That's still a pretty solid amount. Yeah. It was overall though very very good experience, at least in my opinion. From my perspective, I had a good experience with it, aside from getting demolished a couple times near the end there. Like
Yeah.
one of the worst part of it for me, I think, was when I was racing Hyken. I what happened in that race was I was significantly ahead going into Summit. I think I was probably like 45 seconds ahead going into Summit. So that's like a huge chunk for a race where we're both mid to low 27 runners at the time, I believe.
I think you
And
both had like low, yeah, yeah, 27 flat you and 2704 hiking.
mhm. Yeah, so we were both really really up there. And we were managing to stay decently close to those times in actual races too. But what happened for me in Summit that race was I lost like 15 to 20 seconds in the auto scroller, the long auto scroller in 2,000 meters.
Oh,
So that was kind of a meltdown at one point there. The rest of it was relatively okay and smooth until flag one, where I died twice in a row on like the last couple moments of gameplay, and then Hyken beat me by 2 or 3 seconds.
yeah.
So that was a
Yeah,
tragedy to
yeah.
watch.
I'm seeing Heiken got a 2759 and you got a 2803.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oops.
Do you in general remember matches of the Summer Open?
I
Except that
remember
one?
that one, and I remember the race with Marlin at the pretty much near the very end, when basically what happened at the very end for the Division One bracket was Marlin lost his first race, so he's in losers at that point because it's double elimination. So you lose a race, you get to losers bracket, and you can make it your way back to grand finals if you do well enough. But Marlon lost his first one, then 1 second, and then after that, I think was the point that he had just graduated. So he hadn't fully been practicing because he was focusing on making sure that he got his degree and everything.
Yeah.
Um, but then he graduates and grinds like crazy, and suddenly is absolutely trouncing everybody, getting low 27s, and then I think he even got 1 or 2 26s in races during this time. Maybe just one.
No.
No,
Oh
did he
wait, no,
not?
no, 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 no. Oh, yeah, you got a 2644 against Heiken in the grand final.
Yep. So basically, Marlin came completely out of left field after I don't know if it was like 5-2 in Swiss, maybe 6-1. Did he, no, did he actually go 7-0? I don't know. Either way, though, he made a massive, massive comeback and went into losers bracket early on, but then just completely annihilated everybody straight to the finish after that point.
He had a 5-2 Swiss record and then lost the first round against Aleph even barely
Mm,
by 7. Yeah, 7. I think my math is correct. Yeah, 7 seconds. And then just and Marlon got a 28-49 in that race, and then in the loser round and then after that, like you said, Marlon got it, and Marlon didn't get a single 28 after that. Oh wait, no, in the bracket reset he got one, but Heiken and Marlon
oh,
didn't play that well, but still.
yeah. Clearly didn't quite matter though, considering the strong finish after that.
Yeah. But also, another thing, I wanted to ask you about the group stage, but
Hmm.
before you talk about that, the other thing that I think we didn't mention was that you went into the tourney
Uh,
with a unconventional any percent route. Do you want to
a little
talk about
bit,
that
a
one?
little bit non-standard. Yeah, I could get into that here. So a little bit of context. Tournament started very end of June. So like June 28th or so was the first few days. June 28th, 2021 was the first couple days of the tournament. And just a few days before that, I had gotten my 603 7B. So, Summit B-Side, big fan of that level. And I hadn't really been improving my Summit A side, and it had been quite a while since I'd played it. Been like a few months. It's a long level, and I just thought, you know what? It's probably be a little bit easier to get back into this if I just play Summit B-Side instead, you know. So for the first five, I think 5 races of Swiss, 4 or 5, I was playing 7B in races, and it was still going pretty well. You know, I was getting okay splits, like low nines, I think for Summit. I sandbagged a little bit by doing that though. I don't know how I managed to get a 6-1 Swiss record doing that. I did not deserve that
The thing is,
because
yeah,
oh, go ahead.
the thing is, you were um also at the time, you because of the Summer Open and because you had such an unconventional route, and you were going on stream for a 28 with 7B.
Yeah.
The thing is, like half the community, like of the high level runners, were probably very mad that you got 26 paces into Summit but played 7B.
Yeah, I think that did happen like once or twice. Uh, but you know, sometimes you just gotta do something a little bit different.
like
Gotta
like
mix it up a bit.
like even with a rusty 7A, even with like 1 or 2 days of de-rusting, you probably would have gotten faster Summit splits. Like it
Well,
was,
I had a point to prove,
you
you
had a
know.
point to prove. It was very funny. It was you're still known for that, I think. Like if someone plays 7B, they still remember the Pro 7B arc.
80% runners are sometimes afraid to. What was the copy
80,
pasta for that?
80% runners are afraid to implement 7 what was it, 7A due to its
7A
difficult,
because of its difficult.
yeah, due to its difficulty. It was
uh, that was a good time.
oh my god, yeah. Also your stream was popping off during the 90% tourney as well, I think.
Yeah, that was a good time. Just generally speaking, people watch 80% more, and when the tournament's going on at the same time, there was a lot more hype around it too. So it makes sense that was going on. Uh, yeah, people. It was exciting, you know. People were in summer, so a lot of people had more free time on their hands for one, and on top of that, having the whole tournament ongoing over the course of a few months, it made it a lot more exciting to just hang out in streams and watch what people were up to. I was hanging out a lot of people's streams too, just like very very into the whole 90% deal because just seeing all that optimization, everybody pushing their times is always so exciting. You really do love to see it when everybody's working that hard to improve
Honestly.
on the same category.
Honestly, really. I really love to see people just working towards the goal and just improving things. Also, or can I talk about something, or do you want to continue at that point?
Oh yeah, go ahead. I felt
Okay,
like we're on a good point to move on
okay,
there. Yeah, go
okay.
for it.
So the thing, okay, it has to do again with your cube stage, but I'm looking at your PB going into the bracket stage. Oh, by the
Yeah.
way, it was a 27 flat, and your Swiss average, like your group stage average, was a 29-24.
Yeah. I mean, I think I think I started getting like 31s and 32s early on in Swiss, but my PB basically went down, or not my PB, but the times I was getting was going down almost a minute per race, especially after I had dropped 7B and gotten started going for Summit 7A in runs because you know when it honestly I should have just done 7A from the beginning. It didn't take that long to derust. I immediately was saving like half a minute to a minute on what I was doing with 7B. So yeah, my times just shot up immitely after that.
Yeah, it was
I was still playing any percent. I was just taking a minute of intentional time loss.
it
I'm
was very
really
funny.
I honestly probably deserved to get you know have them get flag me for be oh oops made a loud noise dropped my phone but I probably deserved to get flagged for a little bit of BM for that. I didn't feel like it was BM because I just didn't want to learn 7A yet. But looking back, I really should have just done the standard thing. It was good
Yeah,
content though.
it was good content. It was good content. Also, you weren't the only runner who mainly played 7B in the tourney, if you remember that.
I think was it Crab who
No,
did that as well?
Nebs.
Or oh Nebs. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, Nebs did it as well. I see.
There was also the exciting race in one of the later rounds in the group stage between Kate and Nebs.
Mm.
That was one of the best races in the tourney, I think, actually.
Yeah, that was a fun watch. I remember that one. Yeah,
Yeah,
the whole tourney was a good time.
yeah. But in general, the group the group stage, I had also some, and I remember some really good races. Like my race against Place, I think in the like second round or something. I don't know when it was.
Against two, sorry.
What?
Your race against two for
Oh,
the second round,
against
you said?
Place Lava.
Oh, Blaze. Okay,
Blaze.
sorry.
Yeah, yeah. I did not pronounce the Z very hard. Okay. But yeah, that one, that one was, or was it the first round even? I can't remember. Maybe it wasn't the first round. But that was such a good content race, honestly. We
Was it a lot of back and forth?
Yeah, it was a lot of back and forth, and and okay, I don't want to spoil it, spoil how the race went if someone wants to rewatch it back because that one is actually a really good one. Um, but we did a gentleman's agreement at the beginning, before the race that we go for some stupid threats. Like we went for the demo in the third shaft room.
Mm.
We went for a door
Oh
demo. We
dear.
went for unpaused second blockless. I don't know what else we went for, but um, like I think every single of the threads, like one of us hit, which was really nice.
Nice. Yeah.
But
I think I remember this happening.
it was a great race, and it was really really close. Um, but yeah. But the group stage in general was exciting, and the bracket stage. Also, we didn't talk about how the bracket stage even worked. Um,
Mm. Yeah,
but
so the
or do
first part,
yeah.
again, as you mentioned, we had 100 people, so 7 rounds of Swiss. You basically just, it was unseeded. You play against people based on your win rate. Then after that, it was divided into 3 brackets. How many people out of the 100 were put in the 3 brackets? I don't remember.
16 in each division.
Okay,
So
so the top 48 made it
yeah,
to some bracket. Got it. Mhm. Yeah, so after that, yeah, oh yeah, I did mention it was the double elimination deal.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that was it honestly led to it being a very long tournament, having 7 rounds of Swiss into double elimination. So that did contribute to some of the burnout people had regarding any percent after that. But I think it was probably a decent choice. Hard to have had a good choice of exactly how to run the tournament.
yeah. I know that, and the thing is that we had a vote before on what the format will be, and we decided it will be open.
Yeah.
So it was the community's fault that it ran for 3 months. Uh,
Unity vote just resulted on that. Yeah. So
yeah, like I know that I think Jax was like, you probably shouldn't vote for this, but sure. But yeah.
he warned us.
He warned
We didn't
us. We didn't
listen.
listen. Do you have any exciting group stage matches you have in mind right now?
You mean, sorry, group stages in Swiss or bracket? That's how I think of them.
Swiss. The Swiss
Okay,
stage.
yeah. I it's been too long, honestly. I don't
Okay,
think they were
so
too exciting, but it was mostly the bracket that I remembered after that.
yeah. Oh,
Um,
I remember one match in group stage. like not from myself, because the one for myself, of course, the place one, but Rocky against Isaac, I think that, or was it Rocky against Goops? It was some match, some race from, I think, Rocky,
Mhm.
where they were like tied, like they were literally in the same room, and doing the same movement for like 2 chapters or 3 chapters.
Hmm.
It was so good. It was so
Full
close.
on GSA moment for
Yeah,
just like multiple chapters in a row.
yeah. Also,
Wow.
I think I think we have to explain GSA for some people at least.
Global Speedrunning Association.
Yeah.
There's an old joke about how people would always end up matching up nearly exactly in the old GSA Celeste speedrun races. That goes back a long way though. That's before I was around. Were you around back then?
I didn't play the game yet, but I watched a bit. Like that was one of my motivations to start Celeste, by the way.
Oh, the GSA tournament?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Ancient history.
Ancient
Right
history.
there. No,
Ancient,
ancient
yeah.
history. That is 4 years ago.
That's why I remembered Comet's name, because I like the name Comet.
uh, all
Yeah,
right. That's a lot of
yeah.
history we just went
That
through
is
right
a
here.
lot of history, but I will still not stop. I will talk about one small thing still,
Oh,
the bracket stage before we stop.
okay.
Because the bracket stage, in the second division, I just want to talk about it a bit, because I think I got third in this. Yeah. Oh, yeah, right. Okay. So in oh, it was in the group stage, not in the bracket stage. I forgot. But in general, okay, so first about the group stage match I had in mind was, I had a group stage match again, like a bracket, no, a Swiss match against Puddinguri, Chelsea
Mhm.
Puddinguri.
Yeah, pudding. Love pudding.
Um, and Puddinguri, spoilers for the match outcome if you want to watch it, but Puddinguri got 27, the first 27 in that race against me. But the funny thing is, I got a 20-second PB in that race.
Oh my goodness.
I got a 28:34, and I was like, yo, huge PP. Let's see how the race went. And then I look at it and see, what the fuck, Pudding just got a 27. Like
You get a
this.
20-second PB and then still get completely smashed. Uh-oh.
Especially, it was a good time, and I think Pudding's PB was around like 28:30 as well, or something, or
Oh, wow.
28:20. I don't know. I can't remember exactly what it was. It
That's
definitely,
a huge jump then for both of y'all in the same race.
yeah.
Crazy.
It was absolutely crazy that race, honestly. And then in the bracket stage, oh yeah, I played against Hawksam in in the second round, and in the I think second round or third round of the Swiss stage, I also played against Hawksam, and I lost that race in the Swiss stage. So that was a rematch in the bracket stage, and I sadly lost again.
Hmm. Oh.
And the funnier thing is, then later on in the losers semis, I played against Hawksam again.
You've played Toxin 3 times in this tournament.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, and this time I won, and then in the losers finals, I played against Pudding again.
Oh, did you? Oh no, that was the one where pudding won again, right?
I lost that. I lost that barely.
Mm,
Like Pudding got a 28:54 in the first one. I got a 29:09, and in the second race, Pudding got a like off that losers final, Pudding got a 29 flat, and I got a 29:20. So
yeah,
still
close
pretty close,
races.
close races. But that meant I was out. I was out, but I had third place. I made a really good losers bracket run.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
that I think now I talked about everything I wanted about the Summer Open.
yeah, and I think that's probably a decent place to stop. We got through a lot here, It was a lot of history from just like long time ago. It feels like.
Yeah, and we're still not through. We're only in fall of the last year, and right now it's May. And
We
when
can
the episode,
continue next time, though.
yeah, we can continue next time in the
Thanks for
fourth
watching
episode.
or listening.
Yeah, thank you everyone, and we are out. We are out now and on YouTube, Spotify, and Google Podcast now. You don't know about that, but we are out on Google Podcast now as well.
Apparently, we are.
And
Thank you,
follow,
Tiyo.
yep, and follow our Twitter. That now that the episode is out, is probably 2 weeks old. So yeah.
See y'all next time.
See you all next
Thanks for
time.
listening. Bye bye.
Bye bye.